This is an older i5 build. Let's see if Bazzite can make them worth using. We've got an i5-9600K. We've got 16 gigabytes of DDR4. We use a 1 terabyte M.2 drive. I've also got a heatsink for it, just because. We are going to use a Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. Got this Montech case I picked up. I actually bought it in a gang of parts that I was using. I just wanted the parts, but the case will work good for this old build. I did purchase this new, but I got it on sale. It's an Asus Dual RX 7600. It's a dual fan. It should run everything pretty nicely. One small problem. At least a couple of the pins on the motherboard are bent, so the second channel for the RAM is not working. I took out the two 8 sticks and I put one 16 gig stick in there, so it is running in single channel. It's only running at 2133 megahertz instead of the 3200. That will affect it slightly, but I think it'll only be a couple frames per second. I'll still test everything, and I have a new motherboard on the way though, so we'll get into some bench testing now. All right, we got Bazzite deck loaded on here. It's basically Steam OS, so we're gonna test out some games. We're gonna jump right into it before. I appreciate everybody that tunes in and views. My viewer count has really went up, but 98% aren't subscribed, so I would ask if you guys would think about subscribing. Let's just go ahead and get into the gaming though. All right, first up, we got Cyberpunk 2077. All right, we're gonna try to push this thing to the limit. I'm at 1440p high settings on Cyberpunk. It's bouncing, we're getting some lows, but not bad for pushing it. We're staying pretty close to that 60 frames per second, get some stutters here and there. All right, I dropped it to medium and that stays around 70 frames per second. That's pretty good. We're using 80 to 90% of our GPU. We're still staying in the 80 frames per second. We're gonna try Helldivers 2. All right, we're at 1440p, medium settings. We're sitting at 60 FPS. Oh, I dropped it in the wrong spot. This is about how well it plays, not how well I play. All right, for some reason my overlay quit on me. However, it is running on 1440p high. Seems pretty smooth. Oh, there was a stutter there. All right, guys, what do you think? Not bad. I ran it at 1440. I was trying to get it to dip too far to kind of overextend it, so I went straight into 1440. Cyberpunk on high gave me a little bit below 60, so I went down to medium. Everything else I ran 1440p medium, and it seemed to do pretty good. I was above 60, usually around 80 to 90 frames per second. Titanfall 2 didn't have an overlay. However, it did run pretty smooth. I had a couple stutters here and there, but that was 1440p high since it was an older game. I think if I dropped it down to medium, I could still do 1440p. So an i5 with the 7600 ran pretty good. Next up, on the next video, we'll go ahead and we'll load Windows 11, do the same test, and see what kind of FPS we're getting out of it on Windows 11, and see if Bazzite Deck beats it. So hit that subscribe button and check back next week. Thanks, guys.